the lake initially was called St. Louis Lake when the monks first came here. King Ludwig of Bavaria having been a benefactor to both St. Vincent's and St. John's. So it was St. Louis on the lake. Then it was sometimes called St. John's Lake, St. John's College, St. John's Lake. And so it shows up with both of those names in some of the earliest maps, plat maps. So in Peter Engel's diary, he says, John Smith, the oldest Chippewa Indian living around here, supposedly was 130 years old at the time. He was here on a visit, and he said he used to be here before St. John's was here. And he said that the lake was called Sagatagan, not because there was a greater amount of punk around here, but because an Indian by the name of Sagatagan was buried on the south shore.
One of our earliest missions was to the Ojibwe Indians, and so I think that'd be the obvious reason. One of the monks learned from an Ojibwe Indian what they called the growth on the tree, and that's where it came from, Sagatagan.
It's available for lots of outdoor activities, the crew, the triathlon where they swim in the lake. You can canoe in the lake, you can kayak in the lake, you can do all sorts of things. And it's such a lovely setting for the trails and walking to the chapel and spending time in the woods with this beautiful lake.
We not only have 2,800 acres of wonderful forest land, but the lake certainly complements that, and you know, is an essential part of the beauty of St. John's, I'm sure, and especially with the chapel on the other side.
I think we allow people to come on it just for the fact of having other people interested in preserving it, and because we ourselves couldn't preserve it on our own.
The powers that be in general recognize the value of the lake and of keeping it as pristine as we can, so that there's no pollution flowing into it. We have near the guest house, when they landscaped for the guest house, they put in the rain garden so that the water rushing off of the parking lots of the campus would settle into the rain gardens before it went down into the water table and into the lake. So there's those kinds of methods in place around the lake.
It's fed by springs, and so as long as it has no inlets or outlets, especially inlets, the water is going to maintain its purity, I think. And of course, the prohibition of motor boats, I think, has helped a great deal to keep impurities out of the lake.
St. John's could do more, I think, to emphasize the fact that we have this beautiful feature behind the campus, which a lot of students aren't necessarily aware of until it's a hot sunny day and they head for the beach.
I think it's going to be more important as time goes on, as the population grows around here, to have something like this campus. It's not a state park, it's not a county park, it's not a park. It's our land, but we want people to come and be able to use it for walks, for recreation, cross-country skiing in the wintertime, and snowshoeing, and visualizing nature at the same time respecting it and keeping it as pristine as we can.
You can go over to the chapel area, and so many people that just sit on the shore of the lake, probably all around the lake, and just enjoy the beauty of water.